Hello, my name's Gavin. This is Genre Books. It's Tuesday, it's Tag Tuesday, and the tag today is the behind the scenes tag. This tag was created by Robert G. Reader of Books, and I was tagged by a plethora of people. Lecton from Reading from the Depths, Charles from CG Rated Books, Kevin Toll Reads, Stuart Griffin, and Pat from Book Chat with Pat. There are a number of prompts, some of which have more than one question in them, so let's get going. Prompt number 1. When recording a post, do you read from a prepared script, or do you prefer notes or a broad outline, or do you speak extemporaneously? It rather depends. Obviously, with a tag, I'll write the questions down. I might, if I have an idea, put a one-word note for what I might like to talk about in the answer, but with a tag, usually the question will go down and I will just busk the rest. With most videos, there will be notes, names, dates, pertinent facts that I don't want to fluff on camera. I will sometimes get carried away. I did a video recently on Lost Horizon and I thought I'll make some notes so I've got something to refer to, and ended up pretty much writing something out as a prepared script. I don't think I'll be doing that very often because I'm not very good at learning my lines, and it was just as much as I enjoyed the experience, I think people watching the video are just seeing me looking at a script, not looking at the camera. I would love to be able to speak extemporaneously on a subject when it comes about, but sometimes the brain doesn't engage when it's looking into a lens. Don't quite know why that is. Prompt number 2. Do you edit before you post, deleting hems, haws, mispronunciations, and other common public speaking foibles? Do you remove things you didn't mean to say, or off-topic thoughts or comments that you might think be misunderstood? Yes, I edit heavily. And usually to get rid of most of those things listed, as well as barking dogs, reversing trucks, children screaming outside, etc, etc, etc. Not to mention all the effing and jeffing when I screw up what I'm trying to say. Prompt number 3. Have you ever edited a post after posting? Have you ever deleted an entire post? No. I've not taken anything down and re-edited it. Usually if I've made a mistake, I will catch it when I'm putting the video together, and I can put in the text correcting myself, putting big arrows pointing out this idiot. If I've got something wrong after the event, after it's been posted, I can put the correction in the description. I hope I've not made any mistakes egregious enough to take a whole post down, but I stand by all the posts I have put up and I can't see myself deleting any. Not yet anyway. I've never made predictions and I never will. Prompt number 4. Are there certain topics you avoid, things you regard as too personal or controversial? Yes. If it's too personal, I don't want to be sharing it. If it's too controversial, I don't think I'm going to solve anything by posting a video on booktube. I've seen other people's responses to this prompt where politics is seen as somehow controversial. It's not controversial, it's just politics. You should be able to get political ideas and commentary from all sorts of books. We talk about the impact of some historical books in their political context. I don't know whether the passage of time removes the controversial aspect from this, whether the controversy is really around what's happening now. I don't bang on about politics on this channel. I hope I don't have to. It should be obvious from my snarky asides where I position myself. But I'll make a deal. The government get out of banning books and closing libraries, and we'll stop talking about politics on the book channels. How's that? Prompt number 5. Do your posts include graphics? Yes. Covers of books, pictures of authors, relevant photographs I'll post in, correcting text, and a little intro. Other than that, I try to keep it fairly light touch and hopefully relevant. I will occasionally slip a clip of something in if I feel like it. Special lighting? No. I have some lights above me. I use daylight when, as in the spring and the summer, it's available. Music? Yes. If I've got, I won't use background music, but I will use accompanying music if it is going round an art gallery or a bookshop, something where I'm not talking. And I have a little stinger for the intro, and that's about it. But it's a cottage industry. I do it all myself, except 2 occasions when I've used the theme tune from Godzilla and the theme tune from the Mysterious Cities of Gold. So I will try to keep that going. Fast cuts. I use a lot of editing, but I try to just use the mix feature so it isn't too jarring. This is a mistake that I made when I first began the channel, where I thought I'd have to use all different types of cuts and transitions, and people didn't like that. Prompt number 6. Do you have a target amount of posts each week? Yes, I do. The target currently is 4, so I try to be consistent. They all go out at 7 p.m. my time on a Saturday, a Sunday, a Tuesday, and a Thursday. I did a whole year's worth of short videos where I had an author's birthday. I did that for a whole calendar year. I took a couple of weeks off doing shorts. I'm now back to doing shorts. I don't know if they're going to be every day, but just talking about recent books that have arrived onto, not recent books, books that have recently arrived onto Project Gutenberg. So I suppose I might be doing 11 posts a week. I don't really count the shorts as that much. They take time to produce, unbelievably. I think it takes more time to upload and do all the tags rather than the actual making of the videos. But I'll try to be consistent with these things. I think it keeps me honest in getting stuff done, and also having a little bit of regimen in this helps. If I know I've got to be doing daily shorts, if I know Tuesday is Tag Tuesday, that helps give some structure to how I am approaching things. Prompt number 7. Are there certain themed posts you contribute to regularly, such as Poetry Thursday or what you are doing Wednesday? Well, I think you made the second one up. Poetry Thursday, I don't. Not that I wouldn't, I just don't. Other people talk about poetry far better than I do. I'll do the tags on a Tuesday, and I will be involved almost every month in some booktube event or other, and where I am not. I've always got my own little projects to continue with. Rabbit Hole, 50 Shades of Grey, one coming up for next year, and anything else that might take my fancy. Prompt number 8. How important to you is your number of subscribers? Is there a target number you're trying to reach? If you don't hit your target, would you consider dropping out of BookTube? Are your posts designed to attract new subscribers? Are you distressed if you lose subscribers? Let's take this large prompt one point at a time. How important to you is your number of subscribers? I think probably more important than I would care to admit. Everybody loves numbers. Everybody loves to think that they're not just screaming their videos into the void. I think possibly the 500 and the 1,000 subscriber numbers and the 4,000 hours target are made to feel important to you because in YouTube Studio they have those as your targets. Now that I've reached those targets, it's not pressure, the focus is off that. So not that I was really trying hard to boost those numbers, otherwise I wouldn't be doing a whole series on Zane Grey. Now that I've stopped seeing the bars growing ever closer to a target, some of the impetus happily has fallen away. Is there a target number you are trying to reach? I think those were the targets. Anything from now is just a bonus, obviously. I'd love bigger numbers rather than smaller ones. Who wouldn't? But no specific targets. I've seen too many good channels with too few subscribers and too many bad channels with ridiculous numbers of subscribers to ascribe any particular importance to it. I think what needs to sort itself out is the YouTube algorithm. If you don't hit your target, would you consider dropping out of BookTube? No. The subscriber number and that's not what this is about, I don't think. Are your posts designed to attract new subscribers? No. In little ways, yes. I try to keep my thumbnails consistent and readable enough. I don't pay a lot of attention to the design of my thumbnails. I wouldn't be very good at the visual design part anyway, so I keep them all pretty much the same format. The lettering is as big as I can fit onto the page. That's what I'm hoping might arrest some people, and what I'm hoping is that people will be able to recognize my thumbnail because they all look so similar. Whether that is the thing to be doing, I don't know. I'm not prepared to spend the time designing thumbnails and experimenting and doing different streams with different types of design. Life is too short. However, this part of the prompt says, are your posts designed to attract new subscribers? I'm not sure that's the right question. But on that basis, yes, my videos, I do try to attract new subscribers. I'm probably going about it completely the wrong way. If I wanted to grow my numbers, which I suspect is what we might mean by attracting the new subscribers, I don't keep it consistent enough thematically. I will be talking about science fiction one month, which may attract some science fiction readers who are then going to switch off when I decide to turn around and talk about Tibet for a week and a half, or I then pivot to looking at some Gothic literature, or go and decide to read a bunch of 100-year-old westerns. I'm ignoring the retention part of that equation, which will allow numbers to go up. I'm hopeful that some people will be interested in all of it enough to stick around, and there's obviously no diktat that every video must be watched. One of the reasons I do a few videos a week is because I know people will just pick up on certain things. Some people may only watch the tags. Some people might like a project I'm doing and do not care for others. That's fine. I don't insist that everyone is going to follow my tastes. But this sort of leads to the last part of this prompt is, are you distressed if you lose subscribers? No, I'm not distressed. Well, occasionally, if I see something I've lost sort of 4 in a day, I will look at it and go, oh, don't really count that as distress. I don't think I've said anything so inexcusable that I've lost a bunch at a time. And I don't know how you could be distressed when you don't know the reason why people have decided to stop subscribing. It could be that they've gone off YouTube entirely. It could be that they've been removed from YouTube. I usually think that people have subscribed for one reason and realised that this is not what my channel does, and if it's not for them, that's fine. I haven't had anybody flounce off, which would probably be more distressing. You're not doing this to upset people. Prompt number 9. Do you always respond to tags? I try to do the majority of the tags I have been tagged on. There have only been a couple where I've decided I've got nothing to say. This was very nearly one of them. But in general, I will try to get them all done. I have, from time to time, done 2 tags in one video to try help clear the backlog. I think this tag is a little bit involved and long-winded enough that I can't do that, so I may be doing more than one tag this week. But I will try where I can to do it. It's one of the very fun pieces of booktube, and quite often it's a nice, easy, breezy one to record as well, because you're just responding to something rather than producing original work. Prompt number 10. Do you respond to viewers' comments? Are your responses lengthy or only a thumbs up or down? Well, don't give people a thumbs down. I hate it when people give thumbs down. I'd much rather have a comment telling me exactly what I did wrong rather than just being left to guess. I do respond to every comment. Sometimes it's a very brief response because it's something that, if something really doesn't require a reply, I will just be hopefully courteous and say thanks or cheers or whatever it may be. I will try to give a bit of a longer answer if the comment demands it. What I probably have most problem with responding to is when somebody says something nice. Other than saying thank you, I don't know what to say. What am I supposed to do? Agree with them? Yes, that was fantastic. Prompt number 11. Have you ever blocked anyone from viewing or commenting on your posts? Yes. Now I'm lucky that I don't have much of a problem with this. I know some other people do, and I have no idea why people act the way they do on social media. I have no idea why they've started acting in real life the way they act on social media. But I don't experience that kind of problem. I have no compunction about getting rid of the posts and blocking people where they are trying to sell me their services. That doesn't happen an awful lot, but it does happen. And it always starts off, oh, that was a great post. Oh, thank you. It could be even better and get more reach if you use my special method of SEO optimization. Get in the bin. The only person I've ever blocked, it was quite early on in the channel, probably been going about 2 months. And it was just such an off-the-wall comment that I just got rid of it. I don't think I could have had a sane conversation talking about it. So I decided to stop it there and then. I'd done a video about E.F. Benson. I'd gone round the house that he used to rent and I was talking about him, blah, blah, blah. And someone was complaining and giving a thumbs down because I wasn't reading an E.F. Benson story out loud, which is what they thought they were going to get when they clicked on the video. You can't argue with stupid, so I just blocked it. But yeah, that was more left field rather than nasty or vicious, which I know is what some people get and makes me quite angry. But on that belligerent note, I'll finish it. Thank you to Robert for creating the tag. Thank you to all the people who tagged me. Can I remember who they are at this end of the video? Lecton, Kevin, Charles, Stuart, Pat. There you go. And I'll be back probably this week with more tags. Until then,